Playbooks is going to be the framework of how we run, how we operate, and how we fulfill needs for clients. I wanted to take a lot of the thinking out of the process for our team so they can focus on doing their best work and being innovative with that particular client. But structurally, how we should strategically innovate, how we solve problems, we want the high level leaders to be thinking about that before anybody ever touches the account. So that's in terms of fulfillment. Overall outlook for this year. I think last year is a really tough year for many people, including us. The market is in a different place. We saw that coming into the new year. A lot of companies doing cuts, big companies, and that just only rolled down to the small businesses, but you didn't see it right away. What I expect to see this year is probably a continuation of that. I don't think we're going to see as many as cuts on big businesses as we did. A lot of companies did the cuts that they needed to necessarily do 2022 and 2023. What's going to be important for us to have success this year is working with your ideal clients, somewhat recession-proof situations, clients and opportunities, and then being able to structurally find ways to get more results for them. That's easier said than done. Everything about what we're doing is going to have to evolve. The social media, I think we'll continue doing a lot of the things, building the community. The 100-day journey is going to become a thing and crack the digital code. And this year we're going to get more detailed about the type of content that we put out, more detailed about how we build relationships, more detailed about how we build community and get people into our world, more detailed about the people that we're trying to find online. We got to do our due diligence there to find people that we can really add value to and they're valuable for us. In terms of social media building community, that's important. So sales wise, in order for us to have success this year with sales, we got to get smarter about the type of clients that we are targeting. We also have to do our due diligence to have a better understanding of the industries that we're focused on, the ability to withstand changes in the market. What are the behaviors of those industries? So we got to get smarter about that. And then from a sales point, our systems of prospecting and building relationships and our sales tactics, we need to put some more thought into it. I think we got a lot of general stuff put together last fall. In order to have success this year, we need to build on top of the stuff that we did well and get rid of the stuff that we didn't, and just spend more time planning and understanding the people that we're going after and having, intentional conversations. So that's sales. Fulfillment, like I said, fulfillment is really about our team getting very familiar with the playbook that we build for clients and have our protocols really dialed in and just execution. And that also may mean that we will probably bring in more senior level professionals as well to help do that. Those are my thoughts, the reflection from last year. I'll finish up with this. And maybe I did miss something, but that's okay. My conclusions, and this is for business owners. If you're B2B consulting firm, if you're a D2C company, if you're an e-commerce company, there's a few things that I think is really valuable. One is finding a way to carve out, everybody talks about niches, but you got to find a way to carve out your niche in a place that when people really feel like they need what you offer. And that's harder said than done. You have to look at industries and do your understanding of like what are features or parameters of that industry that you can study to help you understand if this industry is good or not, if you should spend your time there. Is there opportunity there? Is it oversaturated? Right now there's a lot of industries that is oversaturated. That's a lot of noise and you're running up a steep hill battle. I'd say instead of, there's nothing wrong with doing research online and following the social media people and gurus, but you really have to do your real research behind the scenes, get access to reports and look at what the market is really telling you versus doing your research secondary of like seeing what people are posting on YouTube or Instagram and TikTok or LinkedIn. You got to go to where you can find the real reports. I've been reading lately about private equity firms, and one of the things that they're really good at, because they're constantly acquiring companies, is they need to know the ins and outs of the industry of the company that they're going to buy. They need to also know the ins and outs of that company itself. But all too often, we've all gotten lazy where we go and Google stuff and we take that stuff face value. You don't know where people are getting their information from. A lot of information online is just regurgitated. So you have to take your time, you're a business owner, and figure out how to do real research, primary research and secondary research. You don't hear anybody talk about that anymore. You just hear people talk about the cool tools and tactics and all that stuff. But learn how to do real primary, secondary research to learn your numbers about your industry. I'd say that's a big takeaway. The next thing I would say, just because you see people getting a lot of follows and comments and likes on social media does not necessarily mean that they have something of value for you. And the reason why I say that is there's people out here that have accounts where they're getting fake likes, fake comments, and all that stuff. You don't really know their backstory. You don't really know what's going on with them. I think taking the advice you get online from gurus and stuff, you got to take it with a grain of salt. And again, like I said, do your research. And your research is not watching a bunch of YouTube videos all the time. You're really going to have to dig deep and figure out how to understand industry statistics and performance. That's the boring stuff. Nobody ever talks about that. The other thing is experimentation. You have to run experiments, and that's how you really learn, from what you're doing. You figure out what's working and what's not. And then I think the final thing is, which is tough for many people, is if what you do you like, and if you've done your research and you understand, you've done enough to understand the industry, and it's a good industry to be in, and there's a lot of space is not saturated, because your knowledge compound. All those things that I did in the fall in this 100-day journey, I still have all that knowledge. I still have those experiments, and I still can reflect on that and build on top of that. So I'm going into this year with a new lens, and I'm a little more smarter, more prepared than I was before I started that 100-day journey. So again, I'll say this: if the industry you're in, you've done your research, and it's a good industry, meaning it has a lot of the market is big enough to support you, 10 times over, meaning you had a goal or vision and it was 5 or 10 times, it's still possible that you could achieve that based on the market, the size. Then get to work, build your foundation, learn, really figure out where your people hang. And I'll add to that, in terms of social media, you hear so many people say post often on social media. I highly disagree if you just posting random stuff. I think the most important thing you could do on social media is, again, this goes back to the research, and I'll have more videos to talk about that. Do your research and understand your industry, understand how they're performing, how they're doing in a recession. Look at the history of that industry. If it's a good industry, then take your time to really figure out where these people are at, whether they're going to conferences, are they online, do they have a trade association? You got to figure out where these people actually are hanging out at, then start building your social media based on that, if they're even on social media. So don't just go out there and just post a bunch of quotes and content online unless you know your people are really there. But it's 2024. One of the things I'm really excited about is we're teasing out the idea of building a community around cracking the digital code, 100-day journey. I'd love for you guys to be able to join me on that journey, as we are constantly working to crack the digital code and share real ideas and frameworks that you can use that will be valuable for you. All right, and this sums it up. Cheers, guys.